Just my couple years of collecting. Big Nintendo fan, obviously. So I got the Wii U set first. I was still collecting. I wanted to do another set. And I decided to go left and do the Wii, which is just, you know, completely left field. And then I started on the DS and, you know.
And just kept going.
Yes.
Actually looking at here, man, this is crazy.
Okay, so this is a big ton of my collection. We have a complete North American Wii set.
Okay.
Complete North American Wii U set.
Well, folks, at this point, we have everything at long last all set out on the table. Parts of it you can barely even see over. Marcus, I'm curious, how long did it take you to accumulate all this stuff?
5 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. All right, so let's address the elephant in the room. Now, I know I've said throughout the years that I would never sell anything in my collection, especially Nintendo related stuff. But in 2020, a lot of people don't know this, I went on a hiatus for like a year and a half. I stopped creating videos. I was off social media. I completely went dark, went off the grid. And that's because I went through a divorce, or like that was the beginning stages, and eventually got divorced in 2021 or whatever it was. So I'm talking about that because that kind of feeds into the story of why I did sell my collection. But one of the reasons, you know, I am an adult. If you don't know, like I said, at one point I was married. I had 4 children. So especially now, single dad, I take care of everything. I have a house. So, you know, I'm trying to do the best that I can. And not by any stretch of the imagination am I anywhere close to being rich. Especially over the past few years, I've been really thrifty with how I'm buying my video games. Like I was trading and stuff like that. You guys saw me purge a lot of my collection. And obviously this was a very, very big purge. So pretty much for the most part, all of my retro is gone. I mean, I still got some CIB stuff over there, but that's about it. Other than that, everything retro's gone. It's all gone. And I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go with my channel, with the content. I obviously needed some money. And it took a while, you know, it's days. I think all collectors go through this. Days you come down here, you may have some kind of expense that comes up, you know, with a house. Anybody that owns a house, we all know it's always something. Right? Like I had to replace my hot water tank, which isn't a big deal. And people probably like, yeah, you could have did it, but I don't like to mess with gas, so leave that to professionals. But that's a few grand, you know. Everybody don't have a few grand laying around, and even if you got it in savings, you don't really want to mess with it. But, you know, I knew that selling my collection could help me. And it was days I'd come back in my game room and try to shoot content, you know, more recently, not at the time that I was going dark and off the grid. But I'm looking at the wall and it's like, I'm glad I enjoyed the journey of collecting the Wii and the Wii U and everything else. I enjoyed the journey. That's what was most important. But the truth of the matter is I wasn't like playing that stuff. I had no interest. There was no connection with the Wii or the Wii U. It was just, I wanted to collect. It's a hobby of mine. It's a passion of mine. So that was why I did what I collected those games. But, you're going through issues, things come about, and you look at this wall full of games and it's like, you're not touching that stuff. It's collecting dust. It can help you. I was saying that a lot, and it was like, I wasn't like contemplating it, but it was just always a thought, because like I would see it every day. I'm walking past it multiple times a day and just looking, and I enjoyed, appreciating it, taking in my collection. But truth of the matter is, it's just sitting there. And believe it or not, I came to the decision really fast. One of the decisions was to do something with the channel. But then within that same weekend, actually happened at SoCal Gaming Expo, when I decided to sell. And I started kind of pitching the idea to a couple people while I was there, and struck up a deal with Caleb within a week, and set it up. I drove down to Kentucky. Well, I packed everything, and packing didn't take long. Literally only took a couple hours for 2,000 games or something like that. Made the drive with a friend of mine, and it's history's gone like that. And I actually had people at Siege like afraid to talk about it, and I'm at peace with the decision. Like, I thought about it, and I never thought twice about it after I was like, yeah, I can sell it. This could help me. So I sold it. Now, I'm sure people were like, okay, well, you sold the collection. How much of the collection did you sell? I sold everything retro, but maybe a handful of CIB, like Mario games, of course. I kept those, and some of the other high-hitter Japanese stuff. I kept my CIB Game Boy, things that actually mean a little bit more to me. And outside of that, I kept all of my Nintendo Switch stuff. And I've said over the years, like, nothing really has sentimental value to me, but I always wanted to keep my stuff. But at the same time, like, I felt like for the right number, I probably would have entertained the idea of selling, but I didn't have sentimental value or attachment to those things, to my Wii collection, Wii U, and all the other retro stuff. Of course, it's nostalgic and brings back memories and stuff like that, but it wasn't an attachment. It wasn't like it couldn't go if it had to, right? But one thing I realized was special, and if you were watching the channel, which I'm sure the majority of you are, I hope you were, and I appreciate that. When I came back to YouTube like full-fledged in like 2021, 22, it was, I finished up the Wii set, and I was just kind of getting stuff, and I wanted to do another set, so I started the DS. And if you were looking at Quest DS, I was equally, if not more, buying Nintendo Switch items. And the truth of the matter, the Nintendo Switch is special to me. So when I went into talking about my divorce and things like that, when I was in this really dark place, like I said, I went dark. If you didn't have my number, you weren't talking to me, right? And I wasn't doing videos because I wasn't happy, so I didn't want to go in front of the camera and pretend to be happy to create content. I enjoy doing this. I want to be happy creating this content, and I was not in the space to do it. I mean, I had some encouragement where people just like, well, just throw yourself into your content. And I could not do this while I was happy. And again, I wasn't on social media. I wasn't playing games. I wasn't looking at games when I went in the store. Nothing. I had no interest in anything. And this went on for about a year, probably a little more. And I remember this day, you know, some time had passed. I just go on Facebook and I'm just scrolling. And to the point I was off Facebook so long, it like made one of those automated posts said that I was logged back on. So I'm just scrolling and I'm seeing different people, because majority of my friends on Facebook are, you know, in the community with you guys. And people were talking about the Switch OLED. I'm like, I just started kind of looking into it a little bit, seeing people saying they can't find them. So I got a little interested, which hadn't happened in a very long time. So I called one of the game shops in Maryland. It wasn't relatively local, but not far either. They had one. And that feeling came back, right? It's like, man, like, yeah, let's go do this. And I was thinking like, all right, how I'm gonna do this? So I had the Super Mario edition of the Switch. I said, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna take the Switch Lite that I had, because I'm like, I don't need that. The OLED screen, it's gonna do both. So I took those and I was able to trade it in to GameStop, which I never do. But I traded in to GameStop and I was able to, because they were giving extra credit going towards the OLED, and I was able to cover the OLED. So I remember coming back, I was excited, posted about it, and that triggered me to kind of come out of that dark place, go back to social media, and since then been full-fledged and going even harder with my channel. So the Switch is sentimental to me. It brought me back in front of this camera to talk to y'all, brought me back to this community that I love so much, and appreciate the people in it and the way that makes me feel. And it got me out and going to different conventions again. And I realized no matter how much I was going through mentally, like I'm still in therapy, doing psychological sessions and stuff like that, and seeing my therapist pretty frequent. And to the point it was so bad, like I was on antidepressants. I'm still on. But what I realized was, you know, going to the first convention, I'm trying to think, what was that first one? It might have been Swap Meet in Portland. This is post-COVID. Of course, at the time, even if I wanted to, I couldn't go to conventions. And that first time out, and I realized, you know, I was having a tough time dealing with my divorce and my feelings and emotions. And I realized, like, when I was out, I didn't think about my issues. I was at peace. I was at perfect peace. Like, just in my element, around what I enjoy and around people I enjoy. So you know, I used to always think, when I would hear people say like gaming saved their life and stuff, like I always thought that was corny. Like, whatever, what are you talking about? Like, how? But after going through what I went through, I can say gaming saved my life. It saved my life. It helped me get to a place to open back up, explore more. It brought back my drive, my passion, and I just have that much more appreciation for this community, for gaming in general, especially for the Nintendo Switch. I'm truly grateful. I'm truly grateful for it, because it brought me out of that dark place. So that's why I was like, I don't want to sell any of my Switch stuff. And with that being said, there's going to be a change in the channel. We're going in a different direction. We are focused solely on the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2. And with that being said, welcome to Destination Switch. And guys, welcome to my new setup. As you can see, I added a second Nintendo Switch kiosk. I have some plans for it. I kind of got to piece it together because, as you guys know, GameStop has been kind of ripping pieces off. But we're going to do some fabrications to it and hopefully turn it into a Switch 2 kiosk. But this is going to be my new setup. This is what you can look forward to in the videos moving forward here at Destination Switch. And I want to know down in the comment section below, what type of content would you like to see here on the channel? What I want to try to do is mix in a little bit of everything. We still going to do our vlogs and our convention coverages, but I want to do more deep dives and reviews of video games. But I also want to get your input if you would like to see some like daily videos or videos about upcoming news as well. And I'm thinking about sprinkling all that in, but I definitely want your feedback. I want to thank everybody for coming along on the ride as we take this new journey into the land of Destination Switch. And I hope you guys continue to watch. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell for the notifications. You don't want to miss an episode. This is going to be a crazy ride. I'm excited to embark on this journey and even more excited to bring you guys along for the ride. So make sure you hit the share button. Let your friends know. If you're a fan of Nintendo Switch, this is your channel. Until next time. Thank you for watching. Follow me on all social media platforms at VideoGameVotary.